Okay. Good afternoon, evening, whatever time it is. I, really appreciate the crowd we had today, and just, I mean, the weather was just unreal, so just a beautiful day for, a college football game, and we just happen to have a place where you can have it on the river, with the just unbelievable look at our campus, from the stadium. So it was just it was a great setting, for our homecoming crowd, for our players. I thought we played well. I liked our attitude, and that was the thing we kind of worked on the last 2 weeks, was just controlling us, earning respect for us. It wasn't about anybody else or anything else. It was about how we respected, how we prepared, and how we played, and how we, gave the effort that it took to really be a dynamic football team. So I thought we came out and played with a lot of passion, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. And it matched on both sides of the ball. Got a few breaks and a couple of special teams, and nicked away, and then finally pulled away later on there in the first half.
John Warner, Waco True. Art, can you talk a little bit about the defensive performance? It seemed like they were just on from the start.
Yeah, I mean they're outstanding, and that's that's the thing that. That we were feeling on the offensive side of the ball. That's why the field goals were not panic situations, because we felt like we'd get a lot of possessions. I think we had, 8 possessions the first half. Could be wrong, but I knew we had quite a few possessions. And, we felt like we'd just chip, and then for too long we'd get a touchdown. And as long as the defense is forcing 3 and outs and get the ball back to us. Or back to the offense. So that was kind of the way that scenario played out. We felt like we could be dominating up front defensively, and those guys were. Billings, Bo, Okie Doke, and KJ all played extremely well up there. So that's how you win. You win the trenches, you win the game.
Art, Tim Griffin with the San Antonio Express News. How difficult were the last 2 weeks since your last game? And it seemed like you guys came out with much more focus on third downs and eliminating penalties. Just describe the play and being able to limit penalties and also to convert your third downs.
Every week's different, Tim. And then, we got caught in a situation a couple of weeks ago where, the cloth was flying, and today, it was a little bit different. So I think, some of that's determined, by how the flow of the game is going from that standpoint. We always give a lot of conscious effort to third downs, both sides of the ball, of course, because they kill drives or continue drives. And we were in more manageable third downs from an offensive standpoint this week than what we were a couple of weeks ago. And that certainly lends to the success. I don't even know what our third down percentage was, but.
Much over 50.
Yeah, good.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Art, can you talk about the emphasis on the running game, and even with 2 of the regular starting offensive linemen, I mean, you guys averaged over 6 yards per carry, 300 and some yards.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that, because Kansas is a good run defense. They've been a really good run defense all year. And so for us to be able to move them up front a little bit, create some space for our running backs was really, kind of comforting, because it opens up everything else. I think, Coach Clements and Coach Levy and them did a great job schematically. We had some stuff that we really felt good about that we haven't done prior to this week, for some of the looks that we've been seeing defensively, and it created some space for our running backs today. So I think, that's certainly attributed to running the ball a little more successfully. And, Bryce made a couple of runs, early in the game, which we knew he'd have to do to keep drives alive, and he did that when it was called upon.
Pierre Nugent, KCN, in the back here, Coach. Earlier in the week, Briles mentioned that he was kind of disappointed with his accuracy, the way it's been going so far this year. I know there were some drops in the first half as well. Are you concerned at all with his drop in accuracy over the past couple of weeks?
No, not one bit. I'll take 7 completions and 2 touchdowns, like we had earlier in the year. To me, it's all about production. I mean, it's kind of determined by what people are doing on the other side of the ball. I mean, they soft zone you. You throw underneath, you can complete, 80% of your passes. I mean, they press you up, bring pressure, and then, you're trying to hit 1 out of 3. That one's going to be a good one. But, the percentages go down. So it's all based on looks on both sides of the ball.
Skyler Dixon with the Associated Press. Coach, Bryce turned into a robot up there a few minutes ago. The only answer he'd give us was just getting ready for OU.
Really?
Is that a message for us, the fans, for his teammates? Where does that come from?
I like it. I should do the same. No, I mean, I'm proud that his focus and his energy and his vision is directed right there, right now, because he understands it's going to be a great, college football game and a great college football atmosphere with two great college teams playing. And so that's exactly where he needs to be.
Jason Norris, Waco Tribune Herald. Coach, when you're able to stop the run the way that you were in the first half, just how much confidence does that add to your defensive effort?
It does carry on. I mean, it's just, once a guy makes a play or two, then everybody else, feels a little more confident in doing it. I thought our guys were pretty tenacious up front, and that's something that we wanted to be. I mean, those guys are good, and then they're powerful, and they played it that way today. If you're making plays, it wants other people to make plays. It just kind of breeds itself. So it's a momentum deal all the way.
Coach, in the back again, how do you feel Pat Colbert stepped in and played today? Were you happy with his performance?
Very. Broxton, both those guys played well, and the difference is Pat wasn't ready. He got thrown in action up there at West Virginia. Broxton, was ready to go. First start, but didn't finish the game. So Tyler gets thrown in there, and so these guys have had 2 weeks to where, when we're putting the starting five out there, they go. It's their job, and I thought they did I have to look at the tape, but from right here, I thought they did extremely well. I know they practiced very hard the last 2 weeks and feel very responsible, to their teammates, and that's the part that's important to me.
Art, KJ had, I think, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 tackles for loss. Was that a guy that, particularly with Jamal out, was that a guy you thought, hey, he could be special, that kind of thing?
He needed to step up. We challenged him last time at the team meeting, and he can't be number 56. He's got to have a name. People got to know who he is, and he's got ability, but he just needed to come out of his shell a little bit and play with a little more passion and energy, and a lot of that comes from confidence. And I think as he's become more confident, he didn't start until, 6th game of the year, so it's not like he's been doing it a long time. He's gonna get better, and he's a good player, and I'm glad to see he played well today.
Coach, Tim O'Donnell, News Channel 25 in the back. You guys had 4 field goals in that second quarter to end your drives. Were you maybe frustrated a little bit with how those ended?
Yes and no. Of course you want to score touchdowns. A couple of those I think were short fields when we started the drive, and you don't really have a full field to work with, so you kind of grind it out and hope you get down there and get a field goal or a touchdown. But honestly, our mindset going into it, or my mindset was, hey, 3 points is okay. Because we felt like we played good defense. Felt like if it was a low scoring game, if you could get around, 21 and 24 points, you'd have a chance to win the football game. So we were just, not going to be, as risky from an offensive standpoint on 4th downs as we might be in another scenario. And we felt like today, get 3 points on the board, it could hold up because we felt like we'd get possessions. And then eventually you're going to, be able to pop 1 or 2.
One more question.
Art, one play that kind of symbolized your defensive effort seemed when Andrew Billings chased down their running back like 30 yards downfield. What did you think of that?
Oh, that was. I wish they would have been in the drive there, because it didn't turn out the rest of the drive like we wanted, but it certainly gave us a chance, to go back on the field and play and get a stop. But he's honestly been doing that all year. He's been real close, 2 or 3 times chasing QBs and chasing people on the sidelines. He's a sideline player, and to me, it just epitomizes, great effort. You can't make a great play without great effort. That's what we always tell them. Great plays don't just happen. You have to give great effort. And that's just a classic example of a guy just, fighting hard to win and doing everything he can do to make a play. And he did. And that was extremely impressive. Thank y'all very much.
Morning.